You know, I've always felt keyboards that offer multiple mounting styles usually do one style great and the rest are just an afterthought. Enter the Transition TKL by SwagKeys. With its 3 mounting styles, you can do top mount, gasket mount, and then we have this thing, a 4mm thick polycarbonate plate that's sandwich mounted to the board. Now let's dive in and see if they were successful at giving us 3 unique and well executed mounting options, and if this keyboard is any good. Hit the B-roll. Now the Transition is set to be an in-stock sale similar to how SwagKeys did with the Shelby 80. Now what that means is they will ship out shortly after purchasing, so you won't have to wait months to get your fingertips on it. Similar to the Shelby 80 drop, the total quantity of units is very low, only 150. So it may be a bloodbath at the time of sale. So set your alarms. The sales date is June 10th at 9 p.m. Eastern. Now the Transition is available in Windows Key or Windows Key Less and comes in 4 colors. You can get an anodized black, navy, or burgundy, which costs $350, or you can get an e-beige, which is the unit that I have, for $365. Now this pricing does not include a PCB or a plate, so add another $45 for a hot swap PCB, which only has layout support for step caps lock and comes in either a 6.25 or a 7U option. Or you can go with the solder PCB for $35, which gives you the option for split backspace as well. ISO users, unfortunately you're left out on this one. These PCBs are 1.6mm in thickness and have no flex cuts, and I'm really loving this trend back to the old school. Now in the standard kit, you can get the Transition TKL, you can get 2 sets of gaskets, a black gasket which is a little stiffer, and then you get these clear gaskets which are the much softer version. You get 2 sets of press-in bump-ons in either black or silver. The foams included are going to be plate foam, case foam, and PE foam. And you also get a carrying case for this price. Now they have a bunch of different plate options for the various mounting methods in different materials. I'll leave a link to the Notion page in the description so you can take a look at all of them and their pricing. But the lowest cost for entry on this keyboard with the solder PCB and the cheapest plate is $400. So yeah, it is an expensive keyboard. As an add-on, they're also offering a color matched 2-piece wrist rest for $78, which looks really nice and matches the board really well. So bottom line, if you decide to pick up multiple plates to experiment with the different mounting methods, a couple of PCBs, the wrist rest, and you add shipping costs, the price can get pretty out of control really fast. I recommend having a game plan set before the time of sale. Now overall, the design of the Transition is pretty plain from a top-down view. The side profile is not as aggressive as the Shelby, which may conform to most people's preferences. I really like this curve on the bottom, and I love the way the sandblasted weight pokes out just a little bit to add some dimension, and it helps the board from tipping over when you press it from the top. The polished stainless steel badges give you a different texture and finish, which is a nice touch. The E-coating on my beige unit is pretty smooth and I didn't find any streaking. Overall, I say this is a more refined and mature design than the Shelby 80. What I really like about the design though is the front height and typing angle. At just 17mm, I find it really easy to use without a wrist rest, and the 8-degree typing angle is an ideal match for the front height. I've been really enjoying typing on this keyboard. Fully built, the Transition TKL comes in at just over 6 pounds. Yeah. Now the build process is also really easy. Opening and closing the case is super simple with just 6 screws at the bottom, 2 of which are hidden under these small rubber feet. Now these 2 screws underneath these feet are a bit shorter than the other 4, so keep that in mind when you're building. I love when designers make it easy to get in and out of the board, so it's a big plus for me. The daughter board installs on the daughter board cover, which you then screw into the bottom case. Aside from that, pretty simple. So overall, I think the design is solid, nothing mind-blowing, but nice. The build process is super easy, and the ergonomics of typing is really fantastic. So let's talk about the mounting methods for a bit. I was sent all 3 mounting plates to try out, but in different plate materials. The first thing I tried is this 4mm sandwich mount, and man, it's different. Now when installing the 4mm plate, make sure to apply these pour-on stickers to the top and bottom of each mounting point. This ensures you don't get that plastic on metal sound. With this plate, there's obviously no space for plate foam, so your only options with foams using this 4mm plate is going to be case foam or PE foam. Now with the plate being 4mm thick, you can expect it to be stiffer than your typical polycarbonate plate. It is pretty comfortable to type on, and it does have just a little bit of flex to it, but I will say the sound that it produces is pretty unique. It has a nice little thunk to it. The alphas all sound really good, the mods slap, the spacebar is a little weak to me, but overall, I'm pretty impressed by this. I was actually expecting this to be a lot more muted than it is when I first saw this plate. If you're looking at picking up this board, this may be a pretty good option for you to pick up just to experiment with. Now I do a few sound tests in this video with each mounting style. All of them will be with zero foam to give you the best idea of how different each one sounds and feels. The switches that I use in all the builds are the B-Sun Raw switches. Bussin'? I'm not sure. Overall, the sound is good with all mounting styles. It sounds full, and I think the board is best suited with the case foam. But I recommend experimenting to find what meets your taste. Take a listen. Now next I went with top mount. I was provided with an FR4 plate, and I think it sounds exactly what you can expect from a top mount. The spacebar has that thonk to it, and overall it sounds a bit airier. Check it out. And finally, I built a board in a gasket configuration using a PP plate, and I use the black gaskets, which are stiffer than the white ones. If you're not familiar with PP plates, it's a softer material than PC or Palm and has a really unique and poppy sound profile. I'm a big fan of it, and I'd like to see more manufacturers offer this with their keyboards. The overall sound is lively, and is my favorite out of the 3 builds. Now due to the softness of the PP plate, this thing was bottoming out a lot, making the spacebar sound just okay. I added the case foam to this, and man, this thing sounds amazing. Check it out. Yeah, so overall I think the Transition is a solid follow-up to the Shelby 80. I think they did a good job of giving each mounting method a unique sound profile that matches their intent. So props to SwagKeys for that. The gasket build with the PP plate and the B-Sun Raw switches with the case foam is really hitting for me. And it's honestly one of the best sounds I've built in a while. The keyboard is expensive, so make sure you check yourself before you wreck yourself. I really enjoy it personally, and I can easily recommend it. That's all I got for you today. I'll catch you in the next one. Subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Drop a like on the video. Really helps me out. Peace.